The average Brit sleeps just 6.5 hours a night, and many of us get far less. As a nation, we're exhausted.
I'm tired a lot of the time.
I get stressy, angry.
If I do 4 hours, I'm happy.
Our busy lives, our addiction to caffeine and technology are all taking their toll.
We're really struggling as a society to switch off.
Going without sleep is bad for our bodies.
I'm absolutely exhausted. I can hardly pick my feet up. My body feels like lead.
It can be frightening.
And I will just be completely terrified.
And it can ruin our lives.
It's torture. There's only so much that you can take until you crack.
I've noticed me nearly nodding off at the wheel. It's scary.
Tonight, we put those desperate to get a good night's rest to the test to find out what can be done to turn things around and change their lives.
My whole outlook has changed. It's just the best feeling ever.
Without sleep, we can't survive. It's essential for our physical and mental health, but many of us simply aren't getting enough.
My problem is I never go to bed before 2 o'clock because it's a waste of time. In my case, it makes me ratty and crabby. My wife's given me the nickname of Victor Meldrew, believe it or not.
I'm tired a lot of the time. I'm shattered sometimes, really, to be honest with you. I get by it. I don't know how I do it. I drink a lot of tea and a lot of coffee. Maybe a lot of Red Bull.
Even if I've had a drink, I'm still up. I thought I've had a couple of gin and tonics and I thought they'd make me sleep. They bloody don't. Then you're up and down going to the loo. So you can't win, can you?
Sleep is absolutely fundamental to our survival. You can survive for longer without food and water than you can without sleep. You can probably look at any part of the body, and if you're not getting enough sleep, because of sleep's essential role in recovery and renewal and rebalance, then it's going to mess with it in some way. So your emotions, your immune function, your metabolism, your circulatory system. We know that prolonged sleep loss really has an increasing kind of risk effect on all manner of disease.
That can include memory problems, diabetes, heart disease, and even strokes. It can be seriously dangerous.
Mortality rates are higher in short sleepers. You die quicker. It's every bit as important as healthy diet and exercise to our well-being. And it really needs to be on the public health agenda in the same way.
We asked problem sleepers to get in touch with us, and literally hundreds did. Now we're taking 2 of them, Gary and Emma, who are both desperate for help, to meet Colin, who's one of the world's leading sleep experts.
If somebody's got an insomnia problem, they're not sleeping well at night, no, they've got difficulties during the day as a consequence, it's occurring 3 nights or more a week, it's there for months, there's a good chance it will continue. You've got to seek some kind of proper treatment for it.
So can he find a solution for them once and for all? We'll discover later in the programme. But first, let's explore why it's so important. We asked for a volunteer who was willing to stay awake, to see just how much a lack of sleep affects us. And 51-year-old Deborah answered our call. She's going to be monitored and will carry out a range of tests to show what happens to her memory and brain functions after going without sleep for just 24 hours.
Usually I fall asleep really easy, but I tend to be 4 hours and then I'm awake. I'm interested in taking part in the experiment because I'm fascinated to see how a person can survive with such a small amount of sleep and how that would affect my behaviour, my mood. I really am excited in a sad sort of way to see if I can do it. It's a challenge.
Our experiment is being carried out at the Mac Clinical Research Laboratory in Liverpool. It's kitted out with equipment to monitor people's sleep problems and research possible solutions. But Deborah won't be using the beds whilst she's here.
So what we're going to do is, on day one, we'll be doing some very simple challenges when she comes into the unit that will test her concentration, her ability to memorise certain things, and also we'll be looking at signs of sedation. Then, after spending 24 hours in the unit and hopefully keeping awake for that period of time, we'll be repeating those tests again. By tomorrow, I think she'll find that an awful lot more difficult to do.
Deborah has just had what for her is a good night's sleep of 6.5 hours. And it's time to start the tests.
I'm going to start off with a test of memory.
First up, Deborah is given a list of words and is tested several times on how many she can remember.
Water, cloud, tree.
Then she needs to read a list of words in different colours as fast as she can.
Red, green, tan.
There's a dot-to-dot puzzle.
Work your way to there as quickly as you can, starting now.
And finally, she has to follow laser dots on the wall to test the speed of her eye movement.
Wow, now that was something else. Tan, red, blue. The hardest one, in my opinion, was the list of colours that you had to not say the word, you had to say the colour. And watching lights without moving your head is actually quite a challenge. I had to be alert throughout all of that then. So I'll be interested to see how the results differ from one day to the next.
It's time for some well-earned lunch next, before Deborah settles in for an afternoon of knitting, reading and watching TV. We'll be back with her later to find out how she's getting on. Britain is a nation of bad sleepers. A third of us say we aren't getting the sleep we need.
1 in 3 people, that's enormous. If you add it up for 1 in 3 of the population, the impact is huge. 7 hours is the recommended minimum for most adults. Now that's a minimum. Some of us actually need more to function at our best. The problem comes when sleep loss accumulates over time and we build up what we call a sleep debt.
That's led some experts to describe sleep loss as a public health crisis. It's thought that tiredness may be a factor in up to a quarter of all fatal and serious road accidents. And tired workers are less productive, which is thought to be costing the UK more than £30 billion a year.
We often see patients in every surgery with a sleep problem. And I guess one of the definitions of that is that it affects the way you function. It affects your daily ability to function, maybe the ability to go to work, maybe the ability to look after yourself or your family. So it's clearly having an impact there. And so from a public health perspective, that can be quite significant.
And while one night of bad sleep can be difficult, when it happens for years on end, like it has done for our problem sleepers Emma and Gary, it can be a major issue. Emma is 37 and from Liverpool. She's struggled at night for most of her adult life.
As far as I can remember, I have suffered with insomnia. It's usually about 2:30, 3 in the morning. I tend to wake up regardless of the day I've had or how busy it's been. It's like my brain is just race. I'm like, oh God, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, which keeps me awake. So then I just can't fall back to sleep and feeling desperate. Like, how can I go to sleep? This is just awful.
But despite her restless nights, she's always busy. In fact, she says she never stops.
I don't sit still for 5 minutes. I'm always doing something. I love to weight train. I love to walk my dog. I'm quite hyperactive.
Emma is doing all she can to enjoy life, but she faces a daily struggle because she's just so tired. And like many others who are suffering, she often needs support from her family. And that's where Mum Chris steps in.
Every day you send me a text message. 2 hours sleep last night, an hour's sleep, no sleep. To watch you go through this struggle is not funny for me as your mum, because as a mum, all that you want is for your children to be healthy and happy for you.
It makes me upset.
I'm your mum.
That you worry about me at my age.
Oh, please don't cry. Don't get upset, sweetheart. Come on. Don't get upset. Hey, that's my job. I'm your mum.
Emma feels like this is her last chance to finally sort out her sleeping issues before it's too late.
I can't control it. I can't stop it. No matter how tired I am. I just frightened that it'll affect me physically and it'll affect me mentally, and that I'll end up having a breakdown or something, because lack of sleep, it's torture, and there's only so much that you can take until you crack.
Gary is 44 and lives in Gloucester with his wife and 2 children. He's suffered with sleep issues for nearly 25 years, and as a result, he's struggling with every aspect of his life.
I was at the age of 2021 when I realised I had sleep issues. An hour to 4 hours is my average. I am always tired. I will get migraines. Being in that sort of pain, it affects your mood as well. My fears, if this gets worse, it would cost me my relationship. It's scary.
Gary's wife Iona deals with the daily fallout of his long-standing sleep problems.
On the night.
The knock-on impact, then the short tempers, the moods.
Mum was thinking, please write, she said.
It's horrendous, and it's not just for Gary it suffers, it's the rest of us as well. So it is certainly impacting our relationship, and it will have a detrimental effect if it doesn't get sorted.
No way, no way, no way!
What? Well, that one?
Daddy,
Gary is also finding his job more difficult because he's just so exhausted.
I do a heck of a lot of motorway driving. I've noticed me nearly nodding off at the wheel. This was a massive worry to me because that is a major cause of accidents. And I don't want to be responsible for us hurting somebody.
Gary has been to see lots of different doctors, but their treatment has focused on dealing with his migraines as the main problem. He doesn't feel he's ever been given an answer to his sleep issues other than being prescribed tablets.
When you haven't slept well for a long time, you're very anxious and everyone is looking for a quick fix. But unfortunately, these pills which just sedate the mind, they're not getting you into the same sort of natural sleep. Also, they're not very efficient. We also build up a tolerance to sleeping pills so that you have to keep taking more to have the same effect.
We'll find out later in the programme how Emma and Gary get on when they travel to one of the world's leading sleep research centres. Plus, after 24 hours awake, what will the effects be on our sleep lab volunteer?
I am still awake.
And what happens when sleep becomes a nightmare? In Liverpool, an experiment is underway to find out what happens to our body and mind when we don't sleep. Deborah is being monitored at a research lab as she stays awake for 24 hours. And she's now nearly halfway through.
This is the time when I would perhaps be thinking it might be time to go up to bed. I think it's going to be hitting me in a couple of hours, but so far so good.
It's 12:30 a.m. and I'm still awake. I'm still feeling fine. Not usually awake at this sort of time. I'm usually fast asleep. It's 2:30 a.m. Starting to feel a little bit tired now.
Deborah is now finding it hard to stay awake.
My eyes are starting to feel really heavy and it's an effort to keep them open. My body's just thinking, please, let me go to sleep.
And as every minute ticks by, the effects of not sleeping are becoming more and more challenging.
I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. My whole body feels like it's made of lead. And I'm starting to get a headache. It's 7:15. I am struggling. My brain is so slow. I can't function properly.
When we don't have enough sleep, we're more vulnerable to making errors in our thinking, in our judgment, in our memory, and in our performance in day-to-day activities. We're also more likely not to notice that we're not functioning as well, because lack of sleep impairs our ability to kind of monitor ourselves.
The effects on Deborah are already becoming clear, and with 3 more hours left to go, she's finding it tough. Will she stay awake? And if she does, what will the tests show the second time round? Most of us have struggled to get a good night's sleep at some point in our lives, and there are many different kinds of sleep issues, some more complex than others.
It may well be that you've got young children in the house and they're waking you up early. You could be coming off a jet from America and you're tired and jet lagged. Or it could be so much more serious that you've got certain other stresses in your life relating to cognitive disorders and you're just not able to sleep. And then of course you've got the other diseases themselves as well, things like sleep apnea, narcolepsy, idiopathic hypersomnia, which can occur and need treating in their own right.
Rhiannon from Blackwood in South Wales experiences terrifying dreams, which mean when she goes to sleep, this happens. She even made national news because of her night terrors.
And you look exhausted from this terror that you've just had. How does it impact your life? How are you feeling?
The next day, there's always like shame, like embarrassment that it happened again,
really?
Because sometimes I don't always remember that it happened.
But 4 years on, Rhiannon is still suffering.
I haven't watched that clip too many times. That scream, I can still hear it. It is one of the most piercing sounds I've heard. But that isn't a one-off. I can probably guarantee that for 4 nights out of the week, something is going to terrify me. I'm up, I'm screaming, possibly waking my neighbours, waking my kids. I've definitely got anxiety about going to sleep.
In her night terrors, she says she sees a sinister, tall man at the end of her bed, or snakes and insects in her room.
This guy is so tall and is dressed in Victorian clothing. So it's literally like something out of a horror film. You know, he's got a cloak, he's got a beard, he's got a top hat. He doesn't say anything. He will sort of come towards the edge of the bed and that's scary enough. I'm absolutely petrified of snakes. Absolutely petrified. And I've got a built-in wardrobe in my bedroom and I can't tell you how many times a snake has come out of that cupboard. I might have a snake on my bed. I can physically feel it. As much as I can feel that, to me, that is how real it is. And I will just be completely terrified. And even as a 34-year-old woman, I hide under my quilt and I just think, oh, please go away, please go away. It won't be there, it won't be there.
Rhiannon was referred to a sleep clinic and put through several tests. She was diagnosed with a form of parasomnia, and it's had a devastating impact on her life.
My marriage ended. Hand on heart, not being able to share a bed with my husband, no doubt played a pivotal role in that. It was really difficult. He couldn't sleep next to me. There's times when I'm at work and I could just crawl into the back of my car and sleep. I've just got accustomed to feeling tired.
She doesn't know if her condition can ever be cured. So for now, she has to survive on broken and bad sleep. And while her problem is extreme, she's not alone in feeling tired.
I get stressy, angry, and I'm grumpy when I don't have sleep. I mean, I've got a husband that snores that sleeps next to me. I'll chuck him out if he carries on.
So if I wake up in the night, I do some breathing techniques like this. I breathe in for 10 and then out again.
I just have had insomnia for 9 years. So to have a night's sleep is, when it does happen, it's just, I always say it's delicious.
The single most important thing you can do to improve your sleep quality is actually have a regular routine. And if you can't go to bed at the same time each night, then at least waking up at the same time each morning. I think caffeine is probably one of the biggest threats to our sleep in modern life. If you've had a lot of caffeine, you'll tend to have a lighter, more broken sleep. And a digital detox before bed is a good idea. If you're checking work emails in the moments before you go to sleep, of course you're going to struggle to switch off.
Two people who are desperate for advice on how to get a good night's rest are Emma and Gary. They're about to go to Oxford University's Sleep Research Centre to have their problems assessed. Emma is preparing for her appointment by filling out a daily sleep diary.
I was finding myself writing down, like, I was suffering with fear about the next day, how I would feel in advance. To read that back on paper, I was quite shocked. But I thought, this isn't just about sleep anymore, this is about how I am letting sleep affect my mental state.
But after nearly 25 years of broken sleep, Gary has been told to head straight to Oxford for more detailed testing.
Hold that there for me, Gary. Yeah. You just put your head down a little bit for me.
And he's being connected up to some very special equipment so he can be monitored overnight.
I'm going to start going around and sticking the electrodes on next. Is that all right? Okay, yeah.
I was incredibly nervous. Nearly 30 electrodes attached to me. We had that nostril apparatus as well, and the heart rate monitor.
Comfortable?
Absolutely. And I thought, that's quite a lot of gear to let me know if I'm asleep or not. So I was curious, as well as nervous, as to what else it was going to come up with. At night, my body decided it was going to go to sleep. It wasn't me. My head was cartwheeling all over the place.
Coming up, will our two bad sleepers get the answers they need?
I was not prepared for that result. It was quite daunting.
And we'll find out how Deborah has coped after 24 hours awake.
It's almost like having flu. I feel like I've really been through the mill.
We all know we need a good night's sleep. But what exactly happens to us when we go without? At a sleep research laboratory in Liverpool, Deborah is finding out after staying awake all night.
It's now 8:45 and I am still awake. This has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I'm absolutely exhausted.
As the morning goes on, Deborah starts feeling worse and worse.
It shocked me how bad I feel. It's almost like having flu. I feel like I've really been through the mill.
24 hours ago, she was given a series of tests to assess her memory, concentration and reaction time. Now she'll do them again to find out what effect her extreme lack of sleep has had.
So how many of those can you remember?
Foot, glove, circle.
She's trying her best, but she's finding the tests today more of a struggle.
green, red, tan.
Tests done, it's time to crunch the results.
And then the final was 12, I think, wasn't it?
And give Deborah the news.
Interestingly, the time it took you to complete those tests was almost doubled today. And
Was
your
it?
speed of eye movement dropped from about 370 degrees per second down to about 330, so a drop of over 10% really. If you had a good night out and you had perhaps 3 or 4 vodkas, you'd also get a similar drop to that.
The results are even more dramatic than the doctor was expecting.
I think overall I was quite surprised because it was a very clear pattern that on all the tests that required Deborah to show concentration, she was impaired. Her brain just could not process fast enough.
Tan. Red.
She was almost twice as slow on most of the tests. Her eye movements were moving at a much slower rate, and a slower rate which is very similar to what you would see with alcohol. The best ways I could reproduce rapidly in an individual the responses that Deborah was showing today would be to give them a decent sedative at quite a high level, or a very high dose of alcohol. And acutely, they would both produce very similar symptoms to what she was showing on those tests today.
Deborah had been prepared to feel bad after a marathon night of no sleep, but the full impact on her body and mind has taken her by surprise.
I was shocked because there's many a time I've gone out and about my daily chores feeling like this because I've had no sleep. And after having the tests, I realised how dangerous it actually is. So it's really highlighted the importance of a good night's sleep.
Sleep impacts massively on your concentration, your ability to function, your ability to memorise and interact with people as well. And the lack of sleep is something which is clearly having a dramatic impact, not just in Deborah, but in everyone who I think is deprived of sleep for a night.
Sleep-deprived parents will be familiar with the effects we've seen in Deborah, and that can continue for months or even years. While some of us might sleep fine, for others, it's impossible.
With the kid, it's absolutely hard. We don't get a lot of sleep. He sleeps well, she's terrible. She's a nightmare, honestly. She sleeps very late, wake up very early, so she's the bad one, he's the good one.
I don't sleep good due to arthritis. I'm waking probably every half hour.
Quite a few years since I've had a proper sleep. If I do 4 hours, I'm happy. But really, it's about 3. My blooming sleeping pattern's bloody awful, to be honest.
Experts at Oxford University are researching our sleep patterns to help us understand them better and find solutions to problems. Emma and Gary have travelled here to get some help, and they're finally meeting Professor Colin Espy, the man they hope will be their sleep saviour. Emma was asked to keep a sleep diary detailing how she was feeling.
I was apprehensive. I was quite scared, to be fair, because I didn't know what he was going to say. And, he's a professor at the end of the day. But at the same time, I knew it was a way forward.
And it's pretty clear she's struggling to rest properly.
I did a wee calculation, right?
Yeah.
And the calculation was to just look at the total amount of time you're sleeping on average
Mhm.
and the total amount of time you're spending in bed. And when we look at that as a percentage, it's actually quite low.
Right.
Now, nobody sleeps 100% of the time in bed, right? But you might hope to get 85.
Mm-hmm.
But your, what we call sleep efficiency, that is your proportion, is down about 55 or 60%.
Wow. That kind of makes sense. It's my body stops, but my brain doesn't.
Right, that makes a lot of sense to me because one of the things we think underlies certain types of insomnia is what we call hyperarousal.
Right.
The usual Emma is a bit like on the go all the time.
Yeah.
And during the day expresses itself in the form of anxiety or worry or a lot of activity.
Yeah.
And at night, it presents itself as tossing and turning, can't get to sleep, can't stay asleep.
Insomnia is one of the most common sleep issues diagnosed by Colin. It's thought to affect up to 16 million adults in the UK.
Well, you're always going to be somebody
Like
who's...
a little jumping bean.
Yeah, but that makes Emma Emma, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's not a clinical problem. We're not trying to erase your personality.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is manage your
Yeah.
symptoms, right?
Okay.
What we need to do is find a way of giving a boost to your sleep efficiency so you can sleep through.
Right, yeah.
So learning relaxation techniques helps you to recognise where there's tension.
Right.
So the elements of things that I think would help you are all part of what we call cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yeah.
These CBT programs are a bit more challenging than just taking a
Yeah,
pill.
That's it, yeah.
But they give you a lasting benefit. This can be treated, but it does take a bit of time.
Cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT, is normally provided by specially trained therapists. But Colin has created his own programme called Sleepio, which offers a self-help version of CBT online.
Nobody learns to be great at sleeping, but people learn to be terrible sleepers. And what they become very aware of is that the whole sleep process is connected with anxiety and worry, uncertainty. So what CBT does is corrects all that. It strips that back to allow a natural sleep pattern to take place by helping people to deal with the racing mind.
And that's why he wants Emma to give the online programme a try, to help her learn to relax and organise her thoughts.
Basically, he told me CBT is like retraining your brain and retraining your thought pattern. So what I had to do was retrain my whole brain. And it wasn't just something that was going to happen overnight. It was something that I'd have to work on.
So the plan is, you go away understanding that you have got a problem.
I'm just so happy that I know what it is. Thank you so much.
Good.
The Sleepio programme is currently available free through the NHS in London and the Thames Valley, and is also used by some employers. Face-to-face CBT can be arranged through the NHS without a referral from your GP, but it's most commonly used to treat anxiety and depression rather than insomnia.
The reality is, it's quite difficult to access services like that from general practice. The resources are limited, and often CBT is used by patients with mental health problems. We may have to seek special funding in order to access it for sleep disorders.
And Sophie Bostock, who was also involved in the Sleepio programme, has concerns about the availability of CBT for sleep problems on the NHS.
Unfortunately, most GPs aren't trained to deliver CBT, and so all they have at their disposal is either general sleep hygiene advice, which is helpful but probably not effective for people with chronic insomnia, or to prescribe a pill. And often people are so desperate by the time they go to their GP that they expect to walk out with a pill because awareness of CBT is so low.
With a rising population and concerns over resources, GPs are also under increasing pressure. In England, just under a fifth of patients are waiting for more than a fortnight for a routine appointment with a GP or practice nurse. And the average appointment time is less than 10 minutes, which the Royal College of GPs says isn't long enough for patients with complicated problems.
As patients live longer, the complexity of the healthcare presentation is increasing, and so sleep can sometimes just be a factor within that, and that can make it really difficult, certainly to manage those things within a very short consultation period.
Back in Oxford, it's now Gary's turn to see the professor. And he's been waiting to find out the results of a sleep test carried out a few days earlier.
Electrodes either on your head or on your face.
I just wanted my results so badly. Very nerve-wracking.
The reports that we get from these are really quite complicated. So what we can see first of all is it takes you a long time to get to sleep.
It does, yes.
And then during the night, there are times when you're waking up and you can't get back to sleep at all.
Yeah.
So these pieces I think we would normally call insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part relates to each time you go into a deeper form of sleep, it's as if something goes and doesn't let you, and your sleep becomes very broken.
Yeah, that's how it feels throughout the night, is that I don't know whether I've actually slept or not.
We call this a sleep breathing disorder.
Mm-hmm.
You're not breathing deeply enough or normally during sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And The brain doesn't like us not having enough oxygen.
Yeah.
So what it does, it kicks you out of any sleep you go into. And what happens then is that because you come out of that, you're waking up enough to breathe normally again just for a little while, and then it keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening.
Professor Espy is gravely concerned about Gary's results. He believes he's suffering from a condition called obstructive sleep apnea and immediately refers him for treatment.
I was not prepared for that result. I did panic a little bit when he said, you need to make an appointment with your doctor urgently now. He's stopping to breathe throughout the night 30 times or so, and that to me, it was quite daunting.
The muscles in Gary's throat are relaxing and collapsing several times a night, blocking his airway. And the sleeping pills he's been taking could have made things even worse.
Some of the difficulties with some sleeping pills, a bit like alcohol, is it actually suppresses your breathing during the night.
This is quite an eye-opener.
Right.
For several years, Gary has been at risk of his breathing stopping altogether.
Some of the avenues I've gone down to resolve this could have killed me. Had I gone an extra dose for the night and relaxed even more, I may not have come out of that situation.
And as long as your airway is open, you'll breathe perfectly well. But at the moment, your airway isn't naturally staying open. So we'll get you to the right place.
Yep.
And get an intervention, a treatment, which would help this, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's explained more in the last few minutes than it has in the last 20 years or so. I've been having this problem.
Gary's condition is so serious, he's immediately referred to hospital.
I'm not quite sure what they're going to do. Whether it's going to be a piece of machinery during the night monitoring my oxygen levels and my breathing, or if they have another method to try and help me sleep.
Hopefully as a result of better breathing at night, better quality of sleep.
Yep.
So up into the nose.
Gary is told he'll need to start using a machine to make sure he breathes properly during the night.
Okay, and it shouldn't necessarily move too much. Now,
I'm hoping that he can actually get a decent night's sleep. It's also to be able to stabilise his mood.
It should work, it should stop you snoring. It should also hopefully then...
And hopefully get to a nice, happy, harmonious home.
We're both more appreciative of the problem. We're both more understanding. Obviously, we both want to end up with that same result where I let her sleep by letting me sleep.
Coming up, we'll find out if the new machine can change Gary's life.
And I'll give you a little blast of what it's like.
And will the professor's advice lead to a breakthrough for Emma?
I feel like I've been given a second chance.
I did a wee calculation.
Like around 16 million people in the UK, Emma and Gary are chronic bad sleepers and have been to Oxford University to have their problems assessed.
Hello again. How can I help?
In Liverpool, Emma was struggling to control her racing mind and hadn't slept properly for over a decade. She's now using an online sleep improvement programme developed by Professor Colin Espy.
Sleep efficiency is the single most important measure of your sleep.
Every single session was about learning to take on a new way of doing things.
Great. Let's take a look at that now.
It's basically a step-by-step guide and support.
Napping uses up your sleep drive at the wrong time, reducing the...
Emma had been napping during the day, but by following some fairly simple advice, she's now developed a more regular nighttime sleep routine.
Afternoon snooze.
If I didn't sleep, I'd go to bed sometimes in the past, like 4 in the afternoon. I'd fall asleep, I'd get up at 9, and then I'd be awake all night.
She is trying what's called progressive relaxation by tensing and relaxing all her muscles.
Holding and then relaxing all of the main muscle groups in turn.
Never felt my body feel like this from the neck down. And then when your body starts feeling like that, then your head starts feeling like that too. It's just absolutely amazing.
After 5 months of online training, Emma is finally able to get a good night's sleep. It might not work this well for everyone, but she has seen real results.
I feel on top of the world. I feel like I'm in control. Having proper sleep feels like an angel has come down and touched you from heaven. That's how it feels to me. Like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my days, I have had a full night's sleep. This is amazing. It's just made me feel like there's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Now I don't cry anymore. I don't cry because I'm knackered. I don't cry because I'm tired anymore. I'm sorry. I feel like I've been given a second chance. My daily routine has changed and my whole outlook has changed. It's just the best feeling ever.
In Gloucester, it's also 5 months since Gary found out that he'd been in serious danger from his sleeping condition. After his visit to the professor, he was diagnosed with a breathing disorder which was blocking his airway. Now he has a machine to keep him breathing during the night.
The mask he's issued to me now is a full face mask. So it covers both my nose and my mouth. And I'll give you a little blast of what it's like to have positive pressure pumped into you continuously is a completely unnatural feeling at first. So it's a lot quieter now, and I can open my mouth. Although you probably can't understand me that well. So it's work in progress, but it is progressing. So it's where some nights I just wouldn't sleep. Now I'm averaging about 2 to 5 hours sleep. It's progress, it's continuous progress.
And to the park.
Mentally and physically, I've come a long way.
Go on then.
I had a temper, a considerable temper.
Ready? Go.
There was a lot to be negative about. I wasn't performing as I should have been. My marriage was on the rocks, and I've turned all that around. Now that I've actually got the energy, me is coming back out. Rather than this grumpy old man, which is what people have had for so many years.
On the way they saw a squirrel in a tree.
So yeah, it is life-changing already. I am a different person, a lot different person.
I love you. Love you. Night night.
Night night.
As we've seen, the reasons why we can't sleep can be complex. But when it comes to shut-eye, it's clear that too many of us aren't getting enough.
I think most of us take sleep for granted. It's very easy to dismiss it and think that we can cut back. And I think we've forgotten what it's like to sleep well.
You know, our sleep is something that occupies a third of our life. It's not an evolutionary mistake. It's something that's really, really important.
After taking part in the sleep experiment, Deborah is now making sleep a priority in her life.
The sleep experiment really made me realise how important sleep was. Depriving yourself of sleep for 24 hours is like being very, very drunk the next day.
In South Wales, Rhiannon is stuck with a long-term problem and is still searching for a breakthrough.
It's just something that I have now, and maybe one day it will stop. So I'll just keep screaming.
Gary and Emma's tired lives, though, have changed for the better. Sometimes sleep problems can be solved with the simplest of solutions. Cutting out the caffeine, switching off the tech, blackout blinds and a good mattress. But as we've seen, getting the right help is critical and maybe even life-saving when sleep evades us.
I can cope with anything now. That's how I feel like Superwoman.